Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the topic of 6 steps to de-escalate gossip. If you have been in leadership for any period of time, you have most likely been exposed to situations where there's gossip. And what is gossip? The way I define gossip is two or more people talking badly about each other, about the team, or about the organization. So if that is happening, this can be toxic. And I want to take you through 6 steps, 4 don'ts, 4 things we should not do, and 2 do's. The first one, step one, and if you're looking at your notes with me, I'm going to be reading here. Don't get caught up in the emotions. So the word is emotions. And what I want to tell you here is a lot of times when we hear gossip, usually it starts by somebody tells us, "Hey, I heard this person saying this about that person," and you are the first recipient of one side of the gossip. You get a whiff that there's gossip going on. Many times, the first thing that happens is if we're not careful, we can get emotional. We can immediately start saying, how could this happen? Or why would this person do that? I can't believe this is happening. You may be going, feeling bad about yourself and your leadership. So, gossip, the first thing that we have to do is what's happening inside of us, inside of our mind and our emotions. So the first principle, you probably heard the statement before, but I think it's very true, is believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. Believe nothing you hear. That's very hard to do. But over the years, I have found that to be true. Not everything we hear is incorrect, but it has a very high error rate. So the first thing is control your emotions, be aware of your emotions, do the work of a good, healthy leader by not getting emotional yourself. Step two is don't ignore it. So go into your notes, don't ignore it. And what I want to tell you there is a lot of times as leaders, we are busy and we may think, this will blow over, it'll be fine. Well, usually it will blow over, but it can cause a lot of damage. So, have I addressed gossip in all situations? No, but I try not to ignore it, meaning, there are situations where I talk to our key leaders and say, what do we want to do here? And we agree not to do anything in this situation. But 90% of the time, I would say, we end up doing something and addressing it somehow. So don't ignore it. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do something, but it should mean 100% of the time that you are thinking through it, talking to key people around you of how do we think through or address the situation or contain it or improve it, etc. So don't ignore it. The rule of thumb is within 24 to 48 hours. If it can be addressed, that's ideal. Some scenarios it may take a little bit longer. I would say if there's something going on, or one thing that happened, a bad conversation that you heard about, if you wait over a week, it's probably too long. I don't want to give you black or white kind of sets of rules here, but just it needs to be handled usually within days. All right. The other thing about this step is when you don't ignore gossip and you address it, is we let people know that they follow an able, courageous, and wise leader. So if you don't take care of gossip, they're gonna, members of your team, they're not gonna only be affected by the gossip, they will also be affected by the fact that you as the leader are not able to handle gossip and not knowing how to squish it. So the trust in you is going to go down. So that's another reason why you should not ignore it. Of course, positive culture you want to have, and people will know that if you do handle it, that in the future you are going to be able to handle things of that nature. All right. So don't get caught up in the emotions. Don't ignore it. The third don't is don't believe what you hear. So I kind of talked about it at the beginning with emotions, but this is very hard to do. But as human beings, it is very easy, and especially if you have a high position, and as a leader, you're gonna have a position of some sort. It's very easy to latch on to things and to make conclusions. In a way, as leaders, we usually want to make decisions, make conclusions, and drive action in general, right? But when it comes to gossip, just hold yourself from making conclusions and just believing this and believing that. Really, you want to wait until you hear everything. And even honestly, after you hear everything, you're not God, you don't know the heart. Just hold these truths lightly and refrain as much as you can from being super judgmental. So don't believe what you hear. And number 4 is don't believe what you think. And this is, I kind of talked about it here, but I wanted to make it a separate line. Is when it comes to gossip, listen to your thoughts, listen to your conclusions, but have a little bit of humility. So don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you think when it comes to gossip. Just come at it with ease. Come at it with less emotion. Come at it with less judgmental approach. All right, number 5, do talk to each person alone. The word is alone. Hear each person's story. The key, and I've been in situations where a leader goes in to talk about the gossip that's going on with a person. So I'm sitting there listening, and first the leader is emotional. The leader already made up their mind that that person is the culprit. And we go in to talk, and that leader does 90% of the talking and saying how they should not gossip. Well, I wouldn't do that. First, go in with low emotions. Go in with an investigative attitude. Like, I want to know what is going on. Even if you're told that this person is guilty, just go in there saying, I want to find out what's going on. You can tell that person, I heard that this is what happened. I heard that you may have said this or that. I'd like to hear it from you. What happened? And just have that inquisitive mind and saying, so hear the person. I would say, 70 or 80% of the talking should be from the other person, because you really want to see that person's perspective. So do talk to each person. And then step 6 is do have the contenders, I'm calling them contenders here, talk to each other with you in the room. And this is really the key to preventing it in the future. Because most people, when they gossip, and all of us have done it before, we do it in the safety of anonymity, or we think it is nobody's gonna know. But if we know that, in this culture, with this leader, we are gonna be brought into the same room to talk about issues in front of the person that I'm talking about, this will not happen in the future. Now, this is tricky, but this has to be your go-to solution almost every time. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but if you do this once or twice, your team is gonna know, the rest of the people are gonna know that gossip is not tolerable. Gossip will be dealt with, and it will be dealt with in this open fashion, and it will just really decapitate gossip, and it will not happen as much. So I know this is hard to learn and grow in, but I hope that you practice some of these steps, and I wish you all the success. Thank you so much.